It's my new way that I like to play 2D platforming games.
Apple was like, you better get that. Yeah, all right, no problem.
Whoa. Like shorter games with worse graphics, made by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding.
Hey everybody, welcome back to stupid Carrie. Carrie, come on, man. He hasn't done it in a while, and I was looking right at him, and as soon as I started talking, he makes a face. Welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. I'm Bill Fairchild, your host. I'm joined by Carrie Golem. Carrie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing super and awesome.
I have to say it's the end of an era for this podcast because longtime viewers, not listeners will have no friggin' idea. Longtime viewers of the podcast will be looking at something on the screen, and I'm not going to tell you what. And you're going to notice something different. Anyway, Carrie is super and awesome. Let's see what kinds of superlatives Russ can spit out at us. How you doing, Russ?
I mean, he took the good ones, so I just feel like I'm super awesome at this point.
Oh, he's super and awesome, but you're super awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Rich, you got to top that.
I am excellent and fantastic. I'm going to do those two. Yeah.
There you have it. Okay. Well, we are all kinds of descriptive words today, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I haven't seen these guys in 2 weeks. Russ, we haven't seen in 3 weeks, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, starting with there was a Nintendo Direct today, and there's a lot of stuff that they talked about in the Nintendo Direct that I personally just don't really care about, but there was some stuff that I thought would be an interesting conversation nonetheless. So let's start with that. We've got this link from Destructoid that is every single thing that is in the, I'm trying to put it on screen now for the YouTube audience, everything that was in the Nintendo Direct listed for us, and there's a lot of it. So if we look at that on the show notes, what jumps out to you guys? This like that we got to talk about this first. Anybody?
I would say Metroid Prime 4.
Okay, so let's talk about Metroid Prime 4. I saw this. I clicked on the link and I said, "What the hell am I looking at here?" There's a motorcycle. Looks kind of like the Bat Cycle from the Christopher Nolan Batman movies with who was Batman in that?
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale. Thank you. It also reminds me a little bit of Link's motorcycle in Breath of the Wild DLC a little bit.
Like Loco Cycle, that weird game that came out from Twisted Pixel for Xbox a long time ago.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing was weird to me because I had like caught it. I was in work and I had my phone up on the side. And I was like, oh, sweet, Metroid Prime 4. And I'm just doing work. And I happened to look at the time when it's Samus on the cycle in this desert that is unpopulated with nothing going on. And
it's coming up soon for videos.
And I'm like, is this a spin-off of something? That looks like Samus, but is it? Like, I like this right here. And I was like, is this some weird game? Like, what is this? I thought this was Metroid. And it was like a really weird whiplash of confusion that I had, of like excitement to straight confusion, because I wasn't looking at it. It was in my peripheral, and I saw this, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And this entire segment kind of de-hyped the game for me in a lot of ways, because I don't like, this is the part right here that I get jazzed about for Metroid. And that entire cycle thing looked not it looked, I don't know, it looked like the team that made the wheelchair basketball game. It had that same type of like unpolished look to it. You know what I mean? It's like it's there, but it's not complete. Does that make sense?
It looked more like a tech demo.
Yeah.
I think also for you, right, this kind of exemplifies the critiques that you've had of Nintendo games recently, where this looks like more, I don't know, I'm just watching this for the first time myself, but it looks like more open world design for the sake of open world design.
Yeah.
And which also does feel very anti-Metroid, especially we were just talking, Carrie and I were just talking about like how much of a game, how open is a game, and there were like 6 levels on TV tropes, and Metroid I think was like a level 4, but like open world games are like a level 6 or level 5, and this is so clearly they jumped a level here.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
That was my first thought too, is that this is like if it's an open world and like you can go from place to place, then the cycle, I guess, is a way for you to traverse these areas quickly. But what's the reason for needing to traverse these areas quickly? Because traditionally in Metroid games, you would get, like in Metroid Dread, you get on a train and it takes you to this next place, and you don't have to go through the moment, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but you don't have to go through the rigmarole of getting on your motorcycle and driving through a completely empty desert.
Yeah. I feel like it is super weird. Like it is a thing to do for an open world segment. And the weirdest thing about that is like it has removed the ship that Samus has. It's like, oh, I need to go a few miles. I'll use my light cycle. Like instead of my fully equipped ship. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe
I wonder
ship doesn't exist.
No, what if you have the ship at the beginning and the ship gets blown up, and then the only thing that, because this is traditional Metroid stuff, you are full power Samus at the beginning, and then your shit gets blown up, and now you don't have any of your stuff. You're no longer powerful, but she had her ship at the beginning, and now she doesn't have her ship anymore. So she's got this cycle instead, and then halfway through the game, you unlock your ship again, and then you can travel to these different areas and do other things like that.
Right. Yeah. It's potential. Potentially, but how it looked is it looks barren.
Yeah.
And it's just that it's populated with some things to fill that gap of time. I don't know. It is weird. It's I don't know if this is going to. It is a concern, but they still have some time before the December release. So perhaps it'll be a bit different by the time that it arrives.
Do you remember Super Star Wars or Super Empire Strikes Back from the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
So those levels that were like between levels where you're stuck in the land speeder and you got to shoot the Womp Rats and avoid the pitfalls and stuff? That's what this reminded me of. And I got to say, not a fan of those levels in that game.
Well, the game was hard generally.
Yeah.
So it was just that's like the whole Battletoads segment of like when you're on that's how I always approach it. Is like, oh, I'm on the harder like speeder section, that it's like super difficult in very specific narrow ways, because it's almost like not platforming, but it is like jumping and avoiding. It's like doing 2 things at once and executing perfectly at each time. So I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I was super excited about it. It does go to a part like you can see the segue from going off of the cycle to the first person mode, and that part looks awesome to me. That looks like, oh, okay, that's exactly what I was hoping for. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. But when I saw that initially, because again, how that whole thing happened, and I was just like, oh, sweet, Metroid, do work. What is this? I thought this was Metroid. That's not Metroid. What is this? Some weird thing? Yeah. So that was I don't know. It wasn't a great. I don't think it was a great demo to show off what they had done.
So Carrie and me and Rich all seem to be kind of not looking forward to the motorcycle. I mean, I'll still give it a shot. I'm excited for the game. But Russ, has it changed how you feel about Metroid Prime 4? Are you looking forward to it less now seeing that gameplay?
I mean, it really comes down to what is the core gameplay mechanic. And I think that because they've been showing the FPS stuff so much over the years, that it's got to be that, it's a Metroid Prime game. I'm thinking of it like Call of Duty games, where you've got those in-between segments, like we were talking about with Battletoads and whatnot, kind of like that, where it's just like a mini game. And so I'm down for that. As long as it doesn't take away from the FPS experience, and maybe it's a nice break every once in a while, that'd be fine.
Yeah, it could just be a change of pace or something. And I don't know. I'm still very, very excited for the game. In fact, of all of the things that were shown at the Nintendo Direct, I'm still most excited for Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
but the bike thing just looks kind of lame. And whoever put the trailer together, they didn't pick the right segments to showcase this feature, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you guys finished the trilogy at this point?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, me neither.
So I played the first one and I beat it, and I think I played the second one and beat it, but the third one, which was exclusive to the Wii, right?
At the time,
I think I played that, but I think I had like young kids in the house, and I just didn't have time to play it, so I never finished it, I don't think, but I ended up playing it for a little bit. What about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first. Something about the second didn't click with me in the first few hours, and I was like, I'll get to it another time, and I never did. So I definitely want to go back to second, and then, finish the trilogy out. So hopefully, I don't know. It's been tough, right? Because I've been playing other games, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to that, but I'd like to finish that trilogy.
It's crazy to me that Nintendo still has yet to release the other two games, like the remastered, like they did Metroid Prime Remastered, and it was awesome. It was really great. But
it fixed up a bunch of things,
people want to catch up before they play Metroid Prime 4, don't they?
Yeah. 100%. I think that they it took them a lot of time to make the remastered one, and I don't think it sold well. And so I think that's probably why we don't see the second and third ones remastered, because I think it's a lot of work.
They had a plan to do the second remaster, and then they just did a like a port, right? Wasn't that the what happened?
I haven't seen any availability of those games later on. You know what I mean? It's just the remastered one, and then you got to go back and emulate them. For those who don't know, there is an app called Prime Hack. It's basically a fork of Dolphin, and it is made specifically for like the Metroid Prime trilogy. So you can just pop that in if you have the ROM, and then you can play through the whole trilogy, choose your control layout, widescreen, all these like really nice hacks to it. So if you are going to go back and play those games, that's the way I would recommend doing it. Works well on the Steam Deck. They've got a version for it there too.
I really hope that whoever makes the Metroid Prime hack, they include a motorcycle so that we can get from place to place a little bit faster.
Where's the motorcycle?
Where is the motorcycle?
Just what I've been waiting for.
Just what everyone's been waiting for, Rich. I mean, I can't believe that we've gone this long without a motorcycle. Although when I was seeing her speed along, all I could think of is just turn into a ball and have little jets come out of the side of the ball, and then you could just zip around as a ball, and then you could make all these little tracks that you could ride on, with in the open world, and make it almost feel like I don't know, like going around these really tight curves and stuff. That would be really fun. I think that would be better than a motorcycle.
I would actually say that is because Yuri has the morph ball form that. It would make sense to, especially the Metroid-like part of being able to upgrade your morph ball in various ways to just make it better. And then, you have the ending sequence where you have to morph ball away from an exploding ship or whatever, and you're zooming around. You can't, if your cycle's outside, your cycle's not going to be inside the exploding thing. So, you can morph ball. You know what I mean?
When she drove up to the thing and got off the motorcycle, I was like, I would have kept driving. I would have driven into that tunnel. It was big enough.
It's. I don't know. It was a bit of a letdown, but I'm still going to get it day one for sure. Because I generally like the Metroid series. I did stop playing for whatever reason. I never even picked up 2 and 3. I think I was just soft on Wii type of things as it was. Like I was already off, slowly not picking up Nintendo games. But Metroid Prime, I remember GameCube and all of my buddies, we were just even with the kind of not great control scheme, it worked fairly well on the GameCube controller. After a little bit, it just became understood. And it was a really well done 3D version of Metroid, where it was man, they really nailed this entire thing. So I don't know. I really, what the funny thing is, I kind of don't remember quite a bit of Metroid Prime. I should really replay it. But yeah,
the remaster is fantastic. You should play it again if you have time.
I own it. I just don't. I haven't popped it in.
It reminds me of when they announced that they were going to make Metroid a 3D game, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's the stupidest idea you ever said. There's no way it could be good." And then it was amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe
they really nailed it. Yeah.
maybe we'll be eating our words, and we're going to be like, this motorcycle thing is the best thing ever. And
it's
I
ushering
hope
in
so.
a new era. It's like going to be a new era of motorcycle gaming, right? We just don't even know.
It's got to be better than the Team Ninja Metroid, right?
What?
Yeah, Corruption or whatever. Was that the...
There was a Team Ninja
about
Metroid that came out on
GameCube?
Wii, right? Because you,
Was it
and
Wii?
then you
Okay.
flip the controller.
Oh, Other M.
So Other
right.
M, that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never played that one.
Exactly. You guys don't remember it at all.
Nope.
So.
Fair enough. All right, back to the Nintendo Direct. What other things do we want to make sure that we mention that was announced? Scroll through the list. What do you guys
So I'll
see?
talk about Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. So they're going to re-release them. It's it feels a little bit half-baked because we already had Mario Galaxy 1 in the Super Mario All-Stars 3D collection or whatever. We've already kind of had that one available, but now we've got 1 and 2 together, which, I don't know, I kind of always wanted to have in the other one. They're charging $70 for it, which is crazy. Yeah. $70 for these games, and it's for the original Switch, but then if you have the Switch 2, it's got like a upgraded version for free, and that'll push it to 4K or 1080p handheld mode. But still,
just for
$70.
clarification, are you saying that's too much or too little?
I'm saying that's quite a bit of money.
Yeah,
for
a
Nintendo Wii game. 2 Nintendo Wii games.
Yeah. Also, it was in Mario All Stars, so like the first, it's like.
So I'm just buying Mario Galaxy 2 at this point.
Yeah,
a game that they specifically, or a title that they specifically made time bound, right? Like you could there were limited physical copies, and then you could only buy it for so long. And so, like instead of just keeping that available and adding Mario Galaxy 2 to it and providing like 4K update or something like that, even as a DLC, instead of doing that, they're just re-releasing these two games again. Galaxy 2 wasn't in there, but it would have been nice, right? And so, it's just another money grab.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, while you guys were whining about motorcycles earlier, I actually went on Best Buy and pre-ordered it. So I actually spent my $70 on it. It doesn't even have box art on the Best Buy page yet, so we'll see if I actually get it. But yeah, it's coming out soon, like in 2 weeks, and so 2.5 weeks. So it's coming soon, and it's $70 seems like a lot, but again, I'm a bit of a completionist, and so I just paid for it anyway.
Wait,
I mean, it is 2 games. Like, so you're spending $35 per game.
Yeah, and you can buy them individually if you want on the eShop as well. They're going to be $40 each.
You're buying the pack, the Galaxy 1 and 2?
Yeah, I bought the physical pack. They have it available on Best Buy, so I went and I bought it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I mean,
are you picking it up, Carrie?
I mean, I own the All-Stars one, and I own a lot of Switch physical games. So it's in the wheelhouse, but I was probably going to wait for like it to be on sale because I'm not in any particular rush for it. But it might be one of those things where they only make a few of them and then they sell out. And then they're going for like $500. And then I'll have to fly over to Hawaii just to look at Russ's.
Right, you can borrow it. The thing is like I'm of the same mind, and I saw some. I haven't been much on Twitter. It's early in the morning for me. I haven't been much on Twitter today, but I saw someone posting saying that there was like little wording underneath that said limited time only or something like that. And so people are freaking out again about this one. And so that's part of it. And I don't want to push misinformation. So, but it is one thing that I saw in my early morning haze was that somebody had said that, but who knows, on the internet, whether or not that's true. But that's one of the things that motivated for me too, is like, I'm still, collecting my Switch 1 carts, and this is a Switch 1 cart. It's not going to be a Game Key cart or any of that stuff. And so I picked it up.
Yeah.
Rich, what do you think? Well, I want you to tell us what you think about this. And I'm over on Nintendo's press site trying to find out if it is limited time only or anything.
What I think about Galaxy 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I am excited to have Galaxy 2 available again. I'm not going to buy it. Generally speaking, I'm not excited that they're doing this again, right? Where they could have like I said earlier, right, they could have made a bundle. They could have made All Stars continue to be available, and you could still buy that and maybe buy Galaxy 2 separately, maybe even pay for an HD patch, not HD, but 4K patch or something like that. They could have done this a lot better than the way that they've handled this so far. Really, what I would like to see is just an actual virtual library where I can buy Galaxy, and then it is just available for me, like on PC, for the next generation, and I get the patches or whatever, right? That's what I would like to see. But
ironically, I'm just looking at a NintendoLife.com article about this, and they're a British mag, and they say that it was on the Wii U Virtual Console, so your digital library right there, and it sold for £9 each game.
That's insane.
And now they're selling it for, $70 or £59 in the UK for both of them together, which is crazy. I mean, they're remastered, they're upgraded and whatnot. And obviously they work on modern hardware, but still, it seems like this is an increase in pricing compared to value.
Yeah. And remaster is not worth nothing, right? There is value added, and it did take money to make that. So I'm comfortable with that. It's just they could have went about it all better.
Especially because, well, first off, I couldn't find anything about it being a limited time thing. That doesn't mean that it's not, but I couldn't find anything about that.
Okay, good.
But the fact that they already put out, because I had forgotten about Super Mario All-Stars. I own it. I bought it, and I was like, yeah, I'll pick that up. And then, it's the one where they do the rug pull, and they're like, it's gone. We're not going to sell it anymore. Same thing with Super Mario Brothers 35. But they just put that out not a couple years ago, and now they're releasing the same game again, but with a different thing. That's so just, it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, and all right, here's my last word on this is, this is not to advocate for piracy, right? But the way Gabe Newell approached piracy was it was a service problem, right? We're going to provide a better service than piracy. And so what I would hope, and obviously that's never been Nintendo's way, but what I would hope is for Nintendo to provide me something that is more compelling than piracy, right? And so far the best story in terms of playing Mario Galaxy has still been, play it on an emulator. I'm not talking about pirating anymore, but just play it on an emulator. You'll get a great resolution, great frame rate, and you'll enjoy your time, right? And you can continue to use that same game that you bought 20 plus years ago.
Yes.
It's a fun little factoid. It was a Dolphin update that they had talked about, but it applied to Mario Galaxy. And one of the things that, to Nintendo's credit with what they do, mip mapping is a function of you can automate mip mapping so that you have smaller and smaller scale depending on how far away you are, so that you're using a smaller texture, you're using a smaller thing the further you're away. But in Dolphin, when you put 4K resolution, it effectively made the mip map you were super far away from it, so you only ever use the smallest mip map, and it was why does this look so weird? And it was an update. They're oh, when we do internal resolution, we have to do the math to figure out all the stuff, because that was messing up the how it was being rendered. So it's just a little neat factoid that they solved years ago, but I remember it being a thing that got on the Dolphin blog.
Awesome. The more you know. There's a little rainbow and a star, the whole thing. And perfect for Mario.
There is one more thing I do want to hopefully we're not doing it just very quickly, is the Virtual Boy accessory for
That's what I was just going to throw to. So go ahead. Talk about this.
So they're bringing there's the Nintendo Switch Online service where they have been bringing older games through emulation, so you can do Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then if you have the Pro whatever, you can do N64 and whatnot. I don't know which one this belongs to, but now they have Virtual Boy that you can emulate on the Switch. And one thing
you need the expansion pack.
Oh, so you do need the expansion Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes, you do have to have the higher tier, whatever it is.
Naturally. But they sell the Virtual Boy headset, but you can slot the Switch into it and close it up and then look through it. And they have the stereoscopic 3D effect on there. So ostensibly, reasonably, they should be able to make a similar like experience, which I think is super cool. Like it is expensive; it's like $100, but they also have like a cardboard version, which is like $30, I think. And that just goes to say like you could just do the cardboard version yourself as well insofar as if you really didn't want to be spending it. But I thought that was like a really cool thing that they did, and it's just an extra thing. It's not necessarily something that you'd want to do, but I appreciate it. And for what it's worth, I genuinely love the Virtual Boy, and I still have mine after they went on fire sale.
I have one as well, and Carrie's told me how to fix it 100 times, but I've never bothered to fix it. But it only works in one eye, so it's effectively useless. So I can't really play it. I just got it because I wanted to have every Nintendo console. Here's my question to you, Carrie, because you said that you love Virtual Boy, so you've played the Virtual Boy games. Do you think 3D is needed to enjoy those games, or do you think it's fine? Do you think you're going to be able to play them just fine with the Switch in your hand? There's
very few games that really leverage 3D to more than just like a novel type of thing.
Okay, cool.
There's one that is like a top-down game where you're like literally jumping your way down. So it's a 3D, it's a platformer, but through the like you looking down. So you have to like line up stuff. And if everything was just smooshed into 2D without having any depth, that would make it suck like to play. So that is like probably one game that I can think of that would qualify. Outside of that, all of them are just kind of like, oh, whiz bang Neato 3D. Having said that, the Tellero Boxer is still the best Virtual Boy game outside of like Wario Land, which is also pretty good. But Tellero Boxer remains like just such a good punch out game, and it's short. It's not very long, and it's difficult, but I absolutely love it.
Rich, what do you think about this thing?
I am going to contrast what I said with the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, right? The accessory is a way of providing a service that emulation doesn't necessarily provide. Like you can do this with emulation, but this makes it really convenient, even at $100 or the $30 for the cardboard, to be like, oh, here is something that I can have that makes this experience above and beyond. I will say, I will kind of plug the emulators. There was a recent Virtual Boy emulator. I don't remember the name right now, but they recently released like the 4-color palette version, right? Like, so like now you can play Virtual Boy games with 4 colors. I think it's 4. Yeah, so it looks really good.
It's also, someone made the emulator for 3DS as well. So when you have a hacked 3DS, you can actually do the 3D on the 3D screen of a new 3DS. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There was also
we could also use our stupid our little glasses things that we all have. XR glasses. You could use those.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say there's also like an Oculus or a Meta Quest version too. Like it was a fork of Citra before all that stuff blew up last year or the year before.
Right.
Awesome. Rich, anything that you want to look at for the Nintendo Direct, or are you ready to move on?
So I'm catching up. But the Mario Wonder update looks nice, right? Like those levels, those like co-op levels. So the Mario Wonder update is a new area called Bella Bell Park, as I understand it, and it focuses on like new multiplayer levels, like co-op and sort of competitive. And those all like remind me so far of like the best Mario Maker levels and the best Mario Maker like race stuff. So I'm curious. That definitely seems like something that I would enjoy playing with the kids.
Russ, that's your game of the year last year. It was Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
You excited for the DLC?
It was actually, this is how old we are. It was 2 years ago. That was my game of the year.
All right, good job, Bill.
I think it's good. Yeah, right. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't ever actually played this game multiplayer, so maybe this is something that'll get me to sit down with the kids and do that, I mean, it all comes down to the price. How much are they going to charge for this thing? $10 or something? Totally in for it. If they're going to charge 30 or 40 or something, then going to be outpriced at that point, I think.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about $79.99 maybe.
DLC for Donkey Kong being $20. Like, I really enjoyed Bonanza like up to the end, but I don't think I'm going to care for the $20 DLC expansion for Donkey Kong.
It's crazy to me that we already have DLC for Donkey Kong. Like the game just came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't really. I've always heard that they've always had like DLC like in flight with like for teams that were not really doing stuff. So it was just a way for them to like keep banging away. But I don't know. It's at $10, maybe I would have considered it, but honestly, I can wait for this to go on a sale, and I'll just probably continue waiting and not really care about it. I still haven't like 100% of the game, and I don't know. I'm more or less feel like I'm fully done with this game as it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it came out. Yeah. It came out today too. It's like, why not just wait 6 months when people are ready for it? You know what I mean? I'm still in like level 3 of this game. Anyway,
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. I mean, but if you look at DLC, I mean, they already announced DLC, and you can already pre-order the DLC for a game that isn't even out yet, and that's Pokemon ZA Legends. Like, apparently there's here it is, Pokemon ZA Legends Mega Dimension. Like, there's DLC already. The game isn't even out.
I genuinely, I have no real concept of what is the latest mainline Pokemon at this point. They all have like crazy names, and I don't like. I was like, wasn't it lion and tiger, or lion and deer or something? And why are we on XA Mega Dimension? Like, what is this one? I'm sure they're good. I may be woefully out of date for what is the latest Pokemon, because in my head canon for Pokemon is still that like terrible one with the same texture repeating.
I think that's still the latest mainline Pokemon. Yeah.
No, they can't be, because they put out one every year. They put out 2 every year. Don't
so Pokemon Legends ZA is an action role playing game, right? Yeah. But that's an action role playing game, so it's not like the traditional turn based. I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know.
Like, it's like, Pokemon Snap and Pokemon. Like, I genuinely have no real direction of what this actually is, because it feels like it's supposed to be like a specific Pokemon type of mainline game, but it doesn't feel like that is. It didn't seem like it has the weight, the gravitas of a mainline Pokemon title. So I feel like I'm just it's like Saitama when like all the rocks are flying at him, and I'm just like, okay.
I feel like Carrie's really gassing up mainline Pokemon games as they're like they've got weight and gravitas. I don't think that they do.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are.
Oh, they're popular. I'm not saying they're not popular, but I'm saying they're not
like,
good.
For Pokemaniacs, they're like, it's like the second coming is when you know that's happening.
I didn't realize how easily that rolled off the tongue. Pokemaniacs. Yeah. By the way, Scarlet and Violet 2022 9th generation. So we're still in 9th generation. We haven't made it to 10th generation. Yeah.
But we have DLC for the 10th generation already.
What was it?
No, that's still 9th. Legends EA is still technically 9th generation.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. The game's out and there's already DLC for it. That's weird to me, but that's whatever. That's fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Russ, why don't you pick a topic out of the list and we will chat about it.
Let's talk about the Genki thing.
The Genki
that's where
thing.
They paid.
Oh, Nintendo. Right. I forgot about that already. It's right at the top. Duh. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to catch people up real quick. Back at, was it CES?
CES.
Yeah, back at CES, Russ was there. He is not a witness. You can't interrogate him, but he was there, and while he was there, Genki was showing off renders and mock-ups of the Nintendo Switch 2. This is before the Nintendo Switch 2 had been unveiled to everybody, and Nintendo was like, you're done. You're not doing that anymore. They sued them, and then when I was at PAX East 6 months ago or something like that, I went over to the Genki booth and they had their Nintendo Switch 2 like accessories that they were trying to sell, and they had a giant sign there that says not associated with Nintendo or anything like that, because they were trying not to get in any more trouble. Did I get anything wrong here?
No, you're right.
No.
Yeah. I mean, that was the gist of it. I mean, they basically they had like a 3D printed thing, like kind of like what you had. You made a video about that, Bill, where someone had sent that.
I would never do that.
Accessory maker.
Nintendo, no,
I don't think he made a video about that. No.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
There was
else.
a video. Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, they had like a 3D printed thing, and they invited me to go to the booth. I went over to the booth. I didn't share any images of that or anything, and yeah, somebody else did, and then that got some attention. And then Nintendo apparently came to their booth or something like that and said, "Hey, don't do this," and then also sued them afterwards. So yeah.
Well, Nintendo won yet another legal case because they have the best lawyers in the world, it seems like. And Genki is now required to pay damages for teasing the Switch 2 ahead of time. Basically, they're also they tried to make them sign an NDA when they came over to it. It's crazy. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? I feel like I kind of understand how Nintendo feels about this, but I don't know how Genki got that. Like, if they got that because they signed something that said that they wouldn't share it, and then they shared it, well, then they're wrong. They shouldn't have done that. But if they got that because somebody gave it to them and then they shared it, well, they didn't sign anything that said that I can't share this. You know what I mean? How do you guys? Yeah. How do you feel about that, Rich?
I'm a bit at a loss, right? Because I don't know enough, and I'm looking at the court document that is the source for this, and there's not much here. Like at least in my quick reading of it, so I can't tell on what grounds the judgment was made, and when I can't tell, I kind of have to defer to just be like, oh, the judge read the details, the jury, the court was involved in knowing what the details were. So I can't really make a judgment on this. I have to just hope that the court, operated in the way that it was supposed to. It seemed like my impression was what the second scenario that you provided, Bill, was that they didn't sign an NDA. They got kind of secondhand information about what the Switch 2 dimensions and details were. And so, yeah, I would agree that doesn't seem like an actionable offense, but I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what happened. So I got to leave it to the court.
Did it actually go through court, or did they just sue them and then they said, okay, we're not going to fight it because it's too expensive to fight it?
Did they settle? Did they settle?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. It doesn't say in the article, and I did not read the court document because I was too busy this week.
I thought they did settle.
I think it is an actual judgment. It says court.
Yeah, I read it as a judgment. Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah.
So Genki tried to fight it.
Yeah, and it says
they took it to the court. Yeah,
it says the court's inherent equitable powers. It is hereby ordered that, and then it goes on to permanent injunction isn't. Yeah, so that's how I was reading it. It looks like, based on this, they also didn't like the terms glitch too, right? Those
they
names.
tried to be funny about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something similar that D-Brand got caught out for, and D-Brand had to change
for Kill Switch.
I guess this was pretty different, but the iconography on the texture of the PlayStation stuff, wasn't it the same iconography, and they had to change that?
Yeah. They had used the glyphs on their dark plates. Yeah.
It was the X triangle, whatever thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so you can't get too cute with things that are trademarked and stuff like that. Yeah. But again, I don't know what the actual grounds were here. I'd have to read this, and even then it's only 5 pages.
Yeah. All right.
It is crazy to me. I was just going to say, it's crazy to me. It's basically, everyone leaks this stuff once they get access to it, right? It's essentially reporting on it. What Genki, I think, maybe made a step too far in this court filing is that they also were our stuff is going to work with this thing. Here's this new thing. It hasn't been announced yet. And it was probably that our stuff part of it that really kind of made things crazy. But just last week, they announced the iPhone, the new iPhones and stuff. And 2 days prior to that, D-Brand was already ours is going to work with the iPhone 17. And it showed images that ended up being the actual iPhone that they unveiled. And so what about that? You know what I mean? That was several days prior where I saw that and I go, I guess that's what the new iPhones look like. And sure enough, it was. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. The fact that they were using it to promote products that they are profiting from is probably what kicked Nintendo into gear on this.
Yeah.
as far as Apple not going after dbrand for doing extremely similar things, I wonder if Apple is just like, it's not worth the public the PR, the bad
Right.
PR that we would get for going after dbrand for this. Because dbrand, say what you want about them, I think they make really good products. I think their marketing is terrible, but that's the kind of terrible that you want when you're being sued by somebody who's bullying you in a court. You want somebody who's super snarky,
Right.
to just because they could just poke at him and just like just over and over and over, and all that's going to do is give Apple a black eye.
Yeah, I don't like. It's weird for me because I think Apple, well, historic Apple, old Apple. I don't know about new Apple or how they feel about things, but they a long time ago cared greatly about not having leaks of any sort, and I think that they've noticed that has been harder and harder to like kind of control. So maybe they've been lenient on that. But one of the things that I remember that was like felt like it stepped over the line for me was like Ellen DeGeneres was like, she made like just a joke video of like using an iPhone, but like having like an old person use it, and like, oops, whoops, how do you use this? What's going on? And it made it look like it wasn't easy to use. And like the next day, she was like, I am so sorry for making it seem like an iPhone is hard to use.
Geez.
It's not hard to use. And I was like, wow. Like immediately, like Apple was like, you better get that. Yeah, all right, no problem. I'll say it's easy to use. I'm so sorry. Jeez.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's you know what? Real quick, I want to talk about the Capcom Retro Revival Pack, and this is going to be very fast. I just wanted to let people know about it because it's a pretty decent deal. You get and just full disclosure, I am a Humble Bundle partner. I'm sure these guys are Humble Bundle partners too, where we will drop like affiliate links or whatever. So if you use the link down below, whatever. But this has, for $20, you get the Ghosts and Goblins Resurrected, which I've heard is not all that great. But you get Chronicles of Mysteria, which is a really cool side-scrolling beat-em-up game. I loved this. I think I had it on Nintendo Switch a while back. Really good. Then there's Strider, which I haven't actually played that one. I'm going to, sometime during the episode, I'm going to put a code on screen that you guys somebody can grab, and then they can get a copy of Strider because I already had it in my library and I didn't know it. And then you get the Capcom Arcade Stadium Complete Pack, which has tons and tons of games in it. I can't even think of how many games, but it's a bunch of Street Fighter games are in there, a bunch of Capcom's old like arcade classic games are in there, and like you get all of those for $20, and I think the whole thing is 65 games for $20. You might already have most of these in your emulation collections, but I figured anytime a developer gives me the option to give them money for a game that I can then play in return, that's usually the route that I like to go, is to pay for it. Russ, you're a retro guy. Go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bought this the last time they did something like this. I got all of them. But yeah, it essentially is like the entire CPS 1 and 2 collections, if you are into ROMs and arcade and whatnot. And that basically goes all the way up to like Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter 3 is not part of that. But everything else, all those Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Final Fight, 1940 games, all those are part of that collection. And so, yeah, I've bought it previously. And yeah, it is nice to be able to just have them.
Russ,
as opposed to have the ROMs.
Does it come with non-DRM ROMs? Like, are you able to?
I think that there's a way to extract them. I don't think it's easy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to look up. There's probably some GitHub tool for that.
Yeah, probably.
If you're wondering what he's talking about with like extracting ROMs, Bob Wolf has a video called Emulation 101 that Russ and I both were in, where he talks about like resources how you can find ROMs to extract them. I don't know enough about it to say anything. So, all right, moving on to, we have, Carrie, I'm betting you want to talk about xCloud. Xbox Cloud is getting better.
I don't want to talk about it.
You're muted, buddy.
So yes, that actually did get better. It's interesting because it feels like Microsoft has had this ability for quite some time, and they've only recently decided to make use of it. So the hardware that is using is still the same hardware. So it's just a modified Xbox Series X that they stack into a blade, and they have 24 gigs of RAM instead of they basically, so that they can do 2 Series S games at a time or 4 one S games at a time. So they've always had the same hardware and the same video encoders that have been in there for a long time now. The only difference now is that they can go up to a higher bit rate, and there's a few different ways that they do that. So there's like two different profiles that are now available. And truth be told, at least in my area, it is quite noticeable. So in the Northeast area, I did that video on the Mangmi, and I connected to the xCloud in my area, and it's noticeably better. Like it is like in terms of fluidity, it's better. We still don't have 4K output, so it still doesn't match GeForce Now in terms of fidelity or anything. But yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I feel like it's a cool thing to do insofar as like we don't have the next generation of Xbox parts, but it's like they did get a nice upgrade in here prior to that. So we're still 2 years away from like the next upgrade to happen. So I don't know. Maybe there's like real reasons that they did it, but I don't know. It seems like almost like bandwidth reasons that they didn't be prior, and now they have enabled it.
Right. Like now it goes up to 1440p, right?
Yeah. And it's a higher bit rate, I believe.
Yeah. So it is worth noting that GeForce Now now is doing 5K as of like this week. Like they've upgraded, so it's no longer 4K. They're doing 5K, and they have access to like a 5080 now at their like higher tiers. And they also updated the refresh rate for Steam Deck, so it's now going up to 90 frames per second on Steam Deck, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since getting like the ultimate tier of GeForce Now, I just use that to play my Xbox games because you can integrate them, right? And so, yeah, I play like my Game Pass games via GeForce Now, and then I can upscale and whatnot. And so that's how I play like Doom: The Dark Ages. I play it through Microsoft on that. I've now set up my my Shield, my NVIDIA Shield on like my main TV because I don't have any gaming stuff hooked up to our main TV, and so I have the NVIDIA GeForce Now running GeForce. NVIDIA GeForce Now running on the Shield, running Xbox is how I'm doing it now.
So you have a subscription to the internet and a subscription to the games, and then a subscription to the thing that streams those games. You're going to need a subscription to the TV to turn on.
Right.
Subscription to the remote.
Yeah. Because you are doubling up your subscription because you have to have Xbox Game Pass, right? And then also you need to have GeForce Now. So you're doubling it up. I mean, you can use the free tier of GeForce Now, but it limits it to like, I think 1080p and
totally reasonable.
Playtime and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're using stuff. Like, I mean, for sure, it's reasonable. Like to have, So, but for sure, GeForce Now is clearly superior to what xCloud is by default. And I have access to it, but I just, I guess the one thing I never did, I guess it would work, right? Because it's just leveraging Windows Game Pass PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, so all the game save syncing still happens the same way anyway, so no big deal.
Yeah, and then so I play 4K 60 on my GeForce Now rig on my TV.
Yeah, naturally. You're gonna want that.
Yeah.
What do you have for bandwidth at your place, Russ?
Well, so we just moved in a new place, and I bought like the gigabit tier basically at our place. Nice. It doesn't actually get to a gigabit or anything, but it's nice now. Like our new place, it feels like I'm almost on the mainland. Other than the ping, ping is always really bad just because the distance, between the next server and whatnot. But otherwise, it's great.
Do they have servers like local to you, or are you going? No, so when you're going over the water, okay,
yeah. 2,000 miles to Los Angeles,
right?
So it's like not easy, but
and it's good enough.
It's I don't like playing action games and that kind of setup, but like I wouldn't play Expedition 33 on it because of all the parrying and blocking and stuff. Not too much.
Okay, that's fair. Good to know. All right, Rich, you want to pick a story out of the lineup and we can chat about it? Or did we hit them all? No, we didn't.
We did not hit the PS5 specs rumor.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, PS5. I mean PS6, right? So this is another Moore's Law is dead leak, rumor. I forget what we're calling them.
Pick one.
34 to 40 teraflops. So here's the thing. I have a confession. This just goes all like, it's not over my head in that like I don't understand it. Although it may be. What I mean to say, it's over my head in that like, who cares? Like, this is so long from now. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know what to think about this. So Carrie, tell me what to think about this.
I was just going to say, do that. Yes. Carrie, tell us what this means.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the bigger part of it, so like the 34, 40 teraflop thing, it's not unreasonable to think that that's like as just straight render of what it's possible of. The big one is the ginormous ray tracing performance uplift comparative to what the PS5 and the Xbox Series X have. And truthfully, it wasn't great. Like RDNA 2, RDNA 3, 3.5, they struggle with ray tracing stuff, all that, BVH tree stuff. NVIDIA excels. So anytime you do like ray tracing benchmarks, NVIDIA is just going to dominate. And then they also have DLSS. They do ray reconstruction if that's there. So there's just like a litany and a suite of things that NVIDIA has that just makes ray tracing way better on NVIDIA. And this is like, you're looking at like what it's doing and the size of the chip itself. And this is going to be not just generational in terms of ray tracing performance for AMD, but it's like catching up and possibly overtaking where NVIDIA's latest 5090 is, right? Like, so it's like, oh, wow, that seems amazing. Like that's kind of nuts. Like 12 times more better ray tracing performance. Maybe, who knows?
Wait, was it 12 times or 12%?
6 to 12 times more.
Okay, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, so
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question is, Carrie, it doesn't really sound like you particularly buy it. Like, you sound like it's possible, but like, would you, if aside from like the leak, right? If someone told you AMD will have 6 to 12 times ray tracing performance, would you believe that?
I wouldn't say it's impossible, because it's just a bit ahead of what NVIDIA has. And maybe but it's just like, you would say like, oh, NVIDIA is going to be, 40%, 20% more better, 20% better ray tracing performance in whatever over what they currently have. And like, okay, yeah, sure, I could see that. And then it's like, you're going to have what AMD is now and basically catching up to where NVIDIA is today. And that is a ginormous, it's 6 to 12 times. That is a ginormous, that's like a fundamental, like, what are they doing? Now, is there caveats to that? Is there an asterisk somewhere in there? Like, how are they achieving that? Is it via ray reconstruction? Is it via denoise? Well, like, what are they doing? Who knows? There's probably some caveat on there that kind of makes that true. Who knows? I don't. Obviously, there is a ton of stuff that AMD can look at and move forward on, insofar as like it's already well understood how they're going about doing ray tracing in games. So they have the benefit of taking so long to do it right, because they just had the ray tracing side on the per CU of those chips prior. So I don't know. It seems like it's possible, but right now I think it's a bit too far. I'd probably, scale that back a bit, just to like, in terms, like, you know what I mean? It's like, the GeForce will run Doom of the Dark Ages at 400 FPS with DLSS 4. You know what I mean? It's not like, like that's the part that we're not hearing. And that's where I'm wondering what it is basically what it comes down to. Because if it is just doing that, then fantastic. AMD, like, I should go buy AMD stock. Like, like they're doing something. I mean, they just, AMD put a patent out for like how they're doing the wave, their superscaler, for how they are triaging data to keep the GPU constantly working. Right, like if you're trying to feed the GPU at all times, and they made this patent, so now AMD owns a patent for this one I forget what it's called, but it's basically an assist at the superscalar level for their way, like how they're doing the instructions for the GPU itself. So I don't know. AMD has some stuff cooking in the background, and it's possible. Otherwise, not really sure.
Yeah.
When I think about ray tracing, so I have two minds when it comes to ray tracing. On one side, I understand that ray tracing can do two things. One, it can make the developers be able to make games faster because they don't have to bake in lighting on everything that they do.
That's huge.
The second thing that you want to have ray tracing for is because then when you have things like destructible environments and stuff, you can actually have true destructible environments without the baked in lighting so that it actually responds the right way. That's one side of things. On the other side of things for me, I turn on a ray tracing in a game, and I have a computer that's beefy enough to do ray tracing in games. And whenever I turn it on, I'm like, I can't really tell if it's better or not. I can't tell if it looks better or not. It looks pretty much the same to me, only now my frames per second has decreased. So I almost always turn it off unless I'm getting like a locked 60 or higher on a game. I almost never use ray tracing. And I understand that, a 6 to 12 times performance in ray tracing, well, that's enough to keep those games running without dropping down to sub 30 frames per second or something like that. That's interesting to me. But at the same time, most of the games that I play, they look just fine without it. And I feel like we are doing this weird thing where we are trying to get the graphics better and better and better at the cost of performance. And I just wish that they would focus on gameplay instead of graphics. And this is something I've said 1,000 times anyway.
You're gonna make me point at the sign, aren't you?
Point at the damn sign, Rich.
And I gotta look it up. Well, I don't know why I have to look it up every time, but I want shorter games with worse graphics, made by people who are paid more to work less. And I'm not kidding.
Yes.
So at SIGGRAPH, one of the lead graphic guys for id Tech was there talking about Doom: The Dark Ages, and he was saying that for what they were doing with Doom: The Dark Ages, if they did not enable ray tracing all the time, that the game would not be coming out for like another few years, because every time that they would make an update, they would have to render everything, bake it all, and that would take 8 hours or whatever. And every time they were showing how long Doom Eternal was taking to just make every level, and you can't just wait until the very end to actually make it to see what's going on. So by doing ray tracing on all the time, you basically have this advanced development thing, and id Tech is running reasonably well while having that on all the time. And you look at Machine Games using id Tech as well for Indiana Jones, and that has ray tracing on. So you're starting to see more and more games that are just always having ray tracing on. So it unfortunately is going to be a necessity. So this 6 to 12 times might just be like AMD, oh crap, we have to do this because game development time is taking so long that this can't, continue. Outside of that, there are genuinely real good things for ray tracing itself. You have bounce lighting and other stuff when you start doing the one thing I really hate is that ray tracing used to be everything. And now ray tracing means maybe one or two traced lights, and then it became path tracing for what ray tracing used to be. And that's what I hate, they just switched up the terminology out of nowhere.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
because in the past I was just oh, ray tracing, my computer can't do that, I don't care, and I just never thought about it.
Yeah, so ray tracing is now when they say ray tracing, it's actually the minimalist amount of rays that are bouncing around, and path tracing is multiple bounces, so you can get diffuse lighting going through stuff, colors bouncing off of some stuff, going through a character's ear and having it be orange and whatnot. You don't want to ever pass light through glass. if it's like, if you want your render time, if you want your frame rate to just absolutely tank, send some rays through glass and just enjoy your time. Just like look at the slideshow.
All I could picture was Ray Romano bouncing around my screen. Oh, geez, you know.
It's actually really good.
All right, let's move on and talk about the games we've been playing this week, because this never happens. Every week I put in the show notes gameplay, and I say, okay, guys, put in the games you've been playing. And these guys never put the games that they've been playing in. And now everybody but me has put games in the gameplay section. So two of them have been playing Silksong. So let's talk about Silksong, because I know that you guys have thoughts. Russ, you want to start us off with that? You're muted. This is episode 1 all over again. Oh, no, we can't hear you at all. All right. Russ is going to fight with things. In the meantime, Carrie, tell us about Silksong. You've been playing that?
Yeah, so I've gotten pretty far, and I was a bit frustrated with it. And it turns out that Rich helped me determine that I basically did some sequence breaks where I was frustrating myself because I shouldn't have gotten to an area that I got to, because you have like a wall jump ability that you get. And that will get you to this place. And instead of having that, I was literally using like bats. So I would guide a bat to a place, and then I would jump and then downward strike to then double jump off the bat, and then do that again, and then do that again. And then I would get to the place that would lead to a super hard fight that wasn't a boss fight. And the problem is like the one big brute guy is just unreal strong. So he like almost can one shot you. Like he is just really like, if you get hit by one of the little spears that get chucked to you from the guy that's flying around, and he's like deadly accurate. Like, I mean, you could be running and jumping and he'll like change the trajectory of where that's going. So you have to like wait until it has already left his hand before you jump out of the way. So if you get hit with that and then get hit by the big dude, you're toast. So the problem is that the save state is real close by, but you have to do all that. I had to do all that parkour action to go back up there. So I was like, oh, come on, man. So I would just do that over and over and over again. And I probably did it like maybe like 9 times. And it was more frustrating just doing the parkour section. But now I like have a better understanding of that. For at least in sort of like, I was trying to like, because the bats will follow you, right? So if you jump up in the air, they'll quickly follow you. So I would know, like I'd have to jump and then downward strike. And I have that pattern down a lot better now. And then I finally beat that whole segment. And I was like, sick, sweet. And it's not that bad once you get rid of the little guy, because then the big guy is kind of easy. And then I head over to the left, and it's just like, here's some currency. And I'm like, all of that for this? Like, this is insane. Like, like why in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still have not yet to play it again. I'm the shelled level is where I need to go at the moment. But yeah, it's for me, I kind of wish that there were a bit more RPG elements where you can level up insofar as doing more damage, as opposed to getting different styles of fighting. It's fine, but I think it's a game that you need to take a break from every now and again. Most of the bosses, truthfully, are dope, and I didn't really have much of a problem with them at all. Maybe I would go like 2 or 3 deep before I would beat a boss. Like I'd lose like 2 or 3 times, and then I would finally succeed. So bosses I have had not the hardest time in. I actually had a harder time in the place that I sequence broke to, which I shouldn't have been there to begin with. So, it's not my own fault.
This is how I learned that Kerry is like a 20x gamer compared to me. Because I'm like, when I finally got to the place that he got to, like I started the game before him, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
He's telling me about this place, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I talked to my friend, and my friend sends me a video of him beating that place. And I'm like, oh, is that over there in that place that I haven't been to yet? I'm going to try very hard not to spoil anything here. And my friend's like, oh, yeah, that's where it is. And so I go there like 10 hours after Carrie's told me about it, like 10 gameplay hours. and I go, and then it's hard for me. And now I have the ability to get there easily, not do the sequence breaking he does. I get there, and it's hard for me. It's like, thankfully, that, like he mentioned, the save is close. So once you have the ability I have, I can get to that part easily. But it's very clearly, once you know that, because you have to like come back here to this place that you haven't been to in 10 hours. It's deep into this place. There's no like fast travel to where this enemy is, this pair of enemies. So like you have to be intentionally backtracking to like find things you haven't found before. So in that context, it makes more sense that all you get is currency, right? Because it's just like you're doing this for like the bragging rights, right? Like I beat this boss, this pair of enemies that is harder than most of the bosses in the game, and I kick their asses. And you're not getting an ability because this is an optional fight, right? Like this is not a mainline fight.
Yeah, I was so disappointed because I was like, certainly after all of that was like, that was challenging. Give me a reward, and it's like, have 5 cents, and it's like, what? Here's a nickel. Like, oh, what?
Yeah, the game is rough. Currently, like, you know, it's a lot of people are playing it. Obviously, we talked about that last time, I think, or I actually talked about that on the off the console. So like a lot of people are playing the game. It is very slightly less well rated than the original, right? I think the original is at 97% positive reviews on Steam. This is like 94%, and a lot of the discourse is like, is it too hard? And it's going back to like the Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro conversation. What I will say, it is hard. I also found Hollow Knight to be hard, right? Like not hard in a way that it turned me off. I enjoy difficult games, so I really enjoy Silksong. All of the complaints, and I mentioned this, I think, as well, all of the complaints I had about Hollow Knight feel addressed in Silksong. And I know the reason. The reason is I enjoy Dark Souls. I enjoy Demon Souls, but I don't enjoy them nearly as much as Sekiro. And Hollow Knight to me is Dark Souls. Silksong is Sekiro.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I think is like an apt description. I ultimately, you know, it's funny because I feel what is the word I'm looking for? Silksong is definitely a game that will filter. It's a great filter because the difficulty is such that if you die in a certain part and just can't get past it, there are some times where the game is just downright mean. Like that save spot right next to that crazy thing. When you first sit on it, there's a trap that springs. So normally when you sit, you're supposed to save your game, and you sit on here and it's like trap activated. And if you don't have health, you died, go back to wherever you saved last. And it's just like, you know, if you get hit by that, there's a little bit something off to the side. But anyway, the game can be mean. I like just outright mean to you. But when you're playing the game, if you don't have that ability that I feel like we all like earned growing up, because for me this feels less hard than some Nintendo games were back in the day, like genuinely difficult. Like we talk about, you know, Star Wars and Super Nintendo. I find that game to be more difficult than this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if we talk about like genuinely difficult games, like I don't think many people played Star Wars and actually beat Star Wars for Super Nintendo. They kind of just like rented it from Blockbuster, played a bit, and be like, oh, that's what that was. And I got that experience, not thinking like, I don't know, I feel like it's like, oh, this game is not meant to be beat. It's almost like a high score game. Like I got to the third level. Good for me. Like it actually ends. I never beat Star Wars myself on Super Nintendo, but like that game is genuinely hard. Battletoads is genuinely hard. Yeah,
my brothers and I beat the Return of the Jedi one. We never beat the Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back, but we did beat the Return of the Jedi one when we were kids. But that's because that's what we had, and we didn't have other games to play.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, we grew up in that era where, you know, in arcades you could just keep on putting quarters in, and the thing that stopped you from playing was quarters. So there was like a real monetary incentive to like, oh man, I better not die, because like you literally, like, running out of quarters is running out of life. And that was this threat that, you know, if you just have free play on, playing those games are just like, you're kind of just like mashing the button and you don't care. There's no real tension. There's no stakes. So Nintendo games got rid of that. They just gave you lives and no quarters. And they was like, here you go. This is your amount of lives you have and good luck. And you had to beat the game. And so, yes, we only had like one game, but like we were conditioned growing up to play these types of games. So I feel like the difficulty for us is kind of more understood than people that haven't been in that mix. And I feel like they can feel like it's unfair to them. And that's where we're hearing these people. And
I don't think I agree with that.
You have like the get good people from the Dark Souls and whatnot, but like, I don't know, if you finish Return of the Jedi and Star Wars, I feel like you have the capacity to beat Silksong.
I think I have the capacity to beat any game, but I don't have the interest because when the going gets tough, I have 1,000 other games that I can play. And so when I was a kid, if I got frustrated and I still wanted to play a game, I didn't have any other option. So my only option was to play that game that was too hard until it wasn't too hard anymore.
Interesting.
And today, like I was because Silksong is out and I haven't played Hollow Knight. I've been playing Hollow Knight, especially because I'm working on a review for a all button controller, right? And
by the way, you should have talked to me about that. That is the worst game to play on the Leverless. It's not actually the worst.
It's great. It's so good.
Okay, all right.
I'm really enjoying playing it like that. Yeah, I think it's really good. Like it's my new way that I like to play 2D platforming games because you can't have accidental diagonals. You can't hit down by accident or up by accident when you're playing. And anyway, that's beside the point.
Well, for clarity, I also enjoy 2D leverless controllers with 2D platformers. It was just Hollow Knight specifically that, and I think it's the using RT and LT that I did not love on the leverless.
Well, I might not be there yet. Like I might not have enough stuff yet. So maybe I'll change my tune. But I'm playing that game, and what I like, controller aside, I'll jump and I didn't look down first and there's a friggin' pit underneath me and it ends up getting me killed. And then it sends me back to the bench and I bring up the map and I look at where my corpse is and I look at where I am and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go play something else. Because I just did all of that and I don't want to do it again. That's my one. That's the thing about old games versus new games. I'm different because I have more options.
I'm gonna there's an old comic that I don't even know where it exists anymore. I don't even know if I'll be able to find it. I believe on TV Tropes you can find it as well, like along with that sliding scale of linearity. You can also find Nintendo Hard as a trope, and it talks about the things that are like Nintendo Hard. But there was a comic in the long ago where someone like drew like beating like Ninja Gaiden, and it's like, this guy has like veins popping out of his head and he's like, "Arr!" And he's like just filled with joy and happiness for triumph over, just that difficulty. And I feel like that is a thing that Nintendo games instilled in me, is that I don't really like when a game gets difficult and it's personal now. It's no longer me about enjoy. It's like, oh, I see. This is what you have done. You have brought this upon yourself, and now I will beat this. So that's like, it's like this personal, like they just like threw the gauntlet down in front of me, and I'm like, oh, all right, I understand. And then I will just be like a rabid dog on that and just continue until I succeed. And that's what I feel like Nintendo games instilled in me big time. So I feel like, I totally understand and I totally get you when you're saying, because as it is, like after I had beat that part, I have taken a break from Silksong, but I did not take a break from Silksong until I had triumphed over that part. And I wasn't like, oh, this is too hard. I was like, no. Like I win here and then I leave. and that's how it is.
And that's the thing, right? Like games as a medium is such a broad medium that there's so many things that different people can enjoy about games. So some people love cozy games and just want to do that, right? And I consider myself as having like a breadth of those, enjoying a breadth of those experience. but at my heart, I really do enjoy like those like you said, NES hard, Souls like hard, Spelunky hard, right? Like I really enjoy those and overcoming those obstacles.
Yeah, that the overcoming of it is that joy. It's not, like Metroidvanias are one sense of joy where you get that eureka moment. The eureka moment that is like a dopamine hit to my brain like nothing else, where you have that and it's just like, you're a genius. You're well done. And I'm like, yes, thank you, game. That was, yes. And then there's the other side of like just a difficulty spike. And it's like, oh, okay. I understand. I see. Okay, no problem. Well, let's continue then. And I get enjoyment in those different ways, and succeeding, that sense of joy that I get. I wish I could find the comic for you guys. This guy's like, yes, like his veins popping out of his head. He's like the most hateful joy you've ever seen, and the guy's like breaking the NES controller. It's like, and I feel like that's what like Nintendo games were, is like once you finally got, like, when you beat Mike Tyson in Punch-Out, you're like,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Russ, your mic works.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, it's like, even getting up to Mike Tyson, every time that you would learn what you needed to learn, it became something. And then it was just like, oh crap, I have to go through all the beginning again. And then, you'd get to it and then you get, pummeled. And then it would just be like something that you would just do and then just get better at and eventually succeed. But yeah, I don't know. I would just keep going. Or like Mega Man games. Mega Man games are hard. But when I was a kid, I didn't know that they were hard. I was just like, oh, okay, this is just, some of this is just rote memorization.
It's video games.
Yeah. It's I love Mega Man so much. And those games are, like Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10, the XBLA, they were on XBLA. I think they were on PSN as well. Those were like the newer ones in the old style, which I still love. And I haven't beaten them, but I remember I played one and it was like super hard. And I was like, oh, right. I forgot how hard games were. And then something happened that I didn't get back to it. I should really get back to it. But yeah, there's that thing, and I can't qualify it other than that super long sentence of the joy that is had after triumph.
That's fair. Russ, you've been playing a little bit of Silksong as well, right?
Yeah. But not much. Like the first 20 minutes just to see how it looked and ran. I mean, first impression was like, there's finally some color. Like I was like, wow, look at that. You know what I mean? Like, and it was such a big difference for me, like the character is red and the background is green, just right in that intro. And I'm just like, wow, this is fun. I can see why, Rich, you're saying that it's not a great fit for a leverless controller, because you got to do a lot of up shots, you know what I mean? And the up on a leverless is down. And so it's like not a natural fit when playing a leverless, I would say, for Hollow Knight in particular.
Oh,
do you know
I'm playing a different kind of leverless. Mine has WASD.
That'd be fine. But a typical leverless has like the up is actually down because it's a jump for fighting games. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that makes sense. But anyway, I didn't see any difficulty because I didn't get far enough for it. But the observation I had was that the lady is just loud. She's noisy. She's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like she's like jumping and hitting and stuff. And like it was to the point where I like turned the volume down because I was like, is my wife going to be annoyed by this? You know what I mean? And like that's just not something I would think about when playing a game like that. And it would be cool. I didn't go into the audio settings, but it'd be cool if there's a slider, be like turn her down a little bit, compared to everything else. Because Hollow Knight is like a different feeling to me. It's like a disconnect because it is quiet, and like when you get hit, that muffled, like muted sound that kind of happens and things get a little bit blurry for a moment. Like it almost feels like I'm disconnected from the game. Whereas this, I was like too into it. Like I don't need to hear her grunts, But again, just like a super casual observation from my first 20 minutes of playing it. I think I would want to play it. The reason why I haven't is because I haven't finished the regular Hollow Knight, and I kind of want to do it sequentially. So,
yeah, I'm the same way. It's in my library because my son bought it, and I can play it whenever I want because, like, unless he's playing it, obviously. But I'm gonna wait until I would love to play it, and like because everybody's playing it right now. But I'm gonna wait until I've at least given Hollow Knight a little more time. I think I've got like 5 hours in the game so far. I know that it's like
you're so early.
Yeah, I'm super early. So,
Mm-hmm.
One observation another point is that my oldest son, 16, right? He like he's very much into this whole Silksong and like the hype for it and stuff like that. When I went to the Xbox event a few months ago, he's like, "Did you play Silksong?" Because they had like mentioned it, during that, and then even then, like he didn't want to have extra like chores that day. He's like, "Mom, a really important game's coming out that day," and he ended up being sick too. And I was like, "Oh, you're going to pretend to be sick so you can play it, and not go to school." He only played it for about 3 hours and fell off and stopped playing it. And so it's really interesting to me. The kid waited years for it. I mean, he got 110%.
Did he say why?
No, I didn't really ask him about it because I was worried about like a spoiler or something. But
fair enough.
But he did 110% of the original Hollow Knight. Like he played through that game, and so it is kind of interesting that he chose to play some other games, and so kind of interesting.
I think, and I alluded to it with like the Demon Souls / Sekiro thing, but I think the two games are more different than people expected, right? And some people feel like, going back to the difficulty thing, some people feel like you need to have mastered Hollow Knight to really enjoy Silksong, but I don't think that's true. I think that's a confusion. I think what it is that it's a different kind of difficulty, right? And so like people think that they because they didn't just play Hollow Knight and they played it 10 years ago, that they haven't adapted to this new like level. But it's not a new level. It's a different type of difficulty where like it favors dexterity, whereas the original favored timing, right? Like one of my complaints about the original was like, oh, you have to hold the attack button to really get the strong attack. And even then it's not as strong as I want it to be, but that's how they expect you to play, right? Hold the attack, hold to heal, hold, right? Like hold, attack, hold, attack. And that's not what Silksong is. It's like just batshit, just go all out.
See, that sounds more my jam. Is instead of holding to attack, like just spamming.
Then you might prefer Silksong. There is I'll leave it because I know that there are different levels of sensitivity to spoilers. And this is what I was going to say, something that I don't consider a spoiler, but some may. And so I just don't want to. I'll leave it to talk to you later.
You can tell me later because I don't care about spoilers for a game like this.
Can we just talk about Can we talk about the map though? I think the map is like something that would like you get it early on, so I don't know how much of a spoiler it would be.
Yeah, I think so. Are you talking about
buy it and buy a compass? And
I was going to say it's the Hollow Knight thing. We can talk about it because it's the original Hollow Knight, and I agree. Needing to equip something so you have a compass is still a pain in the ass to me.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, first off, I don't even think that there's like whatever, but like I don't want to buy a compass, number one, and I certainly don't want it to take up an equipment slot because I'm always going to want to have it. It's like never a time that I don't want to have it. But more to the point is that you could cheese it if you really wanted to, and then all you're doing is just wasting your time. It's like, I'm going to give my battle slot whatever I need that's going to be beneficial, and then when I need to look at a compass, I'll just go in my inventory and swap it out and then look at my map. So you're going to invest. It's just like there is no real. It's just a weird game design thing that I think is genuinely no good. Like
I agree. What I was going to speak to is the designer's intention, which like you can see it all over the place when it comes to maps. So number one, it's not the same one-to-one map we're used to, and this is both Hollow Knight and Silksong, right? Where like in a Metroidvania, you have a dot, and that dot represents the room, and that room is like a screen's worth of space, right? Whereas like the Hollow Knight map is sort of like hand drawn, and like so like you, even with the compass, you're kind of like you're kind of like alluding to where you are almost. Like you're like, I think I'm in this part, but I don't see the path that leads to where I want to go exactly. And so like they do, it's this thing where I think that they designed it such that you would not have a compass, right? Like their goal was like you just feel it out, and you just kind of go, you explore, and you try to be your own compass and say, this is where I think I am, and now I'm going to go right, I'm going to go up, whatever. And then they're like, yeah, that's too hard. So we have this compass now that you could do. I forget another example, but there was another example that was just like, oh, they clearly like, they want you to feel lost is how I interpret it. They want you to feel lost and just kind of like you're fumbling in the dark kind of thing.
That's a completely fair thing, excuse me, for the developers to want to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, was there 40 bosses in this game?
Yeah, and the map
so
is
I'm guessing
immense.
The game is it's an immense game.
It's immense. Yeah.
And I only have so much time in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I am backtracking across the same place over and over and over because I wanted to feel more powerful, so I equipped, I don't know, whatever the cool thing is instead of the compass, and I keep getting lost because of that, and then Carrie's exactly right, I can just cheese it, but that's wasting my time of like, open up the map, switch the thing over, or open up my inventory, switch the thing over, close my inventory, open up the map, look at the map, close the map, open up my inventory, switch the thing back over, close my inventory. Yeah. This is 78 clicks for just so I can find out where I am. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. In sharp. Go ahead, Carrie.
No. That's fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say in sharp contrast, right? Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, they have a mechanic where you can take a picture. So like you can go to the map and you can be like, oh, that's what that area looked like. And I'm with you guys, right? Like I'm all the way into that. I would like it if I could, no matter where I am, I can go to the map, I can zoom in and be like, oh, that's what that was, right? So I must need like a double jump there or at least a wall jump, if not whatever, right? And then I look over here and, oh, the reason I haven't gotten there is because there's a locked door. So maybe I need a key, right? So like I'm not going all the way back to the east to find out that like, oh, I have a double jump now, but I don't have a key. So this place is still blocked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be, this sounds so whiny, but I would just love to not even need a map. So just let me say, open up the map, put a pin in something, and have it put like a little blue trail on the screen that like give me GPS so I don't have to waste my time opening a map, because that's not why I'm not playing this game because I want to get a degree in cartography or whatever. I'm playing this game because of the combat, because of the platforming, not because it's fun to open up a map. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
I see where you're getting. I don't know that I need a breadcrumb trail leading me to where I'm going. I do see the benefit of that. That's also a thing like I could see like at least midway through, depending on how giganto the map gets, like that should be a power up at the very least. Like that would be like a cool power up to have that. Yeah, like that is something I could totally see as the world gets big. Like I'm only 5 worlds into it right now, and I don't think I would necessarily need that at the current moment. But depending on how big it is, I could see that. For me, it's like everything is just like even like I bought something that I thought was something totally else, and it wound up being just like a pin that I could put on the map. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I have to buy this just to put pins on the map? Like, it's just, there's just like lots of things that they were just, I don't know. It's almost like you're looking at like some tech bros, like crazy micromanaging, like, oh, you have the free service map, you want the premium map, oh, you're gonna have to subscribe, buddy, and you're gonna have to get all these, like, oh, you want to put pins, oh, you better pay up. And it's like, oh, come on, man, like this is a standard function.
I wonder if they felt like there's not enough upgrades in the game for what's her name, Hornet? Is it Hornet?
Yeah
Hornet. I wonder if they felt like there's not enough upgrades for the character themselves. So we want to give the players something to make them feel like they got something after doing something, or they got a currency that like something to aim for.
Yeah.
And that was their solution.
It was a waste of money.
So this is the original Hollow Knight as well, right? Same thing, right? Like you have to buy pins and you have to So what are they called in the original Hollow Knight? Emblems, the things that you can buy. Is that what they're called? The things that you can buy.
The pins?
No. So not the map stuff. The things that you can buy that like make you better.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but I get what you're saying.
You sit on the bench and you change it. And one of them was the compass, right? I think they're called emblems or
something similar to emblems.
Yes. Charms. That's it. Yes. That's it. Emblems is Silksong. Yes, charms. Most of it, like, the good thing about equipping the compass as the charm is that most of them were like, okay, I guess I'll equip that. Like, I didn't really care that much about the charms.
Right.
And I think the game was meant to be able to be finished like at relatively the same difficulty, even if you had no charms, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So like you could get through, like there were some, like there's a shell in the original Hollow Knight that protects you while you're healing, but it breaks, right? So like even if you use it, if you use it too much, you're not going to have it anymore. So you like it's not as valuable. So like my point is, when you have your currency and you go to buy this thing, like it feels like helpful to you, and therefore it feels like it costs you when you lose it, but it actually doesn't hurt you that much. Like if you lose all your currency and you didn't get a chance to spend it, right, not that big of a deal. You'll still be able to play the game regularly. And I think that is their sort of design intent, right? Is like they want you to feel good when you buy stuff. They want it to hurt when you lose your currency, but you can also make it through the game with mostly just like the default stuff.
That's good to know. I was playing that controller with that controller, and my son wanted to try out the controller. Yeah. So he was playing on he was playing Hollow Knight on my TV over here with the controller, and he was killing dudes, and he would just walk away. And I'm like, no, what are you, go get the money. Go get the money. Yeah. And he was like, you don't need money. I was like, okay.
I do get the money, but you'll be fine if you don't, to be honest. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Russ, you've been playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. So I'm not going to say anything because I ranted about it for an entire, like last episode, I ranted about that game. So I'm going to stay out of it. I want to hear what you guys think about this game.
Well, I'll say that it actually really ties in well with Hollow Knight Silksong because of the difficulty issue. So I tweeted about it after I finished. I played through the whole game. It took me about 9-10 hours altogether, but I played it on easy difficulty. And there's a couple of reasons for it. One, I just choose to do that. I like to enjoy my games, as opposed to be frustrated by them. I hate dying and backtracking. That's what I really hate. You know what I mean? And so anything I can do to prevent that, so I'm just playing it in one playthrough, that's usually where I'll kind of find that happy medium. I already played through Metal Gear Solid 3 previously, not the PS2 version, but the Xbox 360 remaster version. That's when I actually had played it. But anyway, so, already familiar with the story and whatnot, and really just wanted to experience it again. And I had a great time. One of the things about Metal Gear Solid games in particular is there are a lot of exposition, a lot of cutscenes. And then all of a sudden the cutscene ends and there's a boss fight. The screen goes white and then you're just in the combat, right? And if you're playing at a high difficulty, usually what happens is you immediately die because you don't know where you are, you don't know where the bad guy is, and you're trying to orient, right? When you have it at an easier difficulty, you still have that disorientation, but you then kind of get into it, And so I found it to be like a good match for like the cinematic quality of the game without having to backtrack and die and play again, because that kind of takes away from the experience for me. I'm playing a movie when I play Metal Gear Solid. I'm not playing a game is the way I think of it. So anyway, I enjoyed that and I had a really good time. And I got a lot of comments on the Twitter, the tweet or whatever I sent out that said, you didn't play the real game because you played it in easy difficulty. You didn't do it the way he intended and everything else. And I'm like, it's interesting. I totally get that. I can understand, one, that like Snake in this game is brand new to this whole thing. He's kind of bumbling. He's still kind of learning who he is. He's making mistakes and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense that he would fail pretty often, He's going to fail in some cutscenes, whether or not you like it, So the fact of having it at a harder difficulty, making it difficult for him, kind of is in line with the theme of that game. But I don't know. I also love the fact that they just have those difficulty options and that I can choose the one that fits me the best. And so, and I don't want to spend 20 hours on it.
Sorry, did they have difficulty options in the original?
Yeah. They've always had it. Even original Metal Gear Solid. Yep.
Well, those people, I think those people are wrong because the developer put that as an option in the game. It's not like you were hacking.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the game. It doesn't even matter how you approach the game. Like, you will always find people that are like, oh, you didn't play it the right way, right? Like, that you could. Elden Ring, I think, suffered from this a bunch because, like, over the course of From Software, they have made it easier by giving you different choices, right? So, like, summons are a way to make things easier, and in Elden Ring, you just have a swath of like fighting styles, right? So you can be a ranged fighter and never really have to deal with like parrying or anything like that. And so, like, there are people that are like, oh, you were fighting at range, right? Like, that you didn't play that game correctly. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. What's the DLC for Elden Ring called?
Not Rain, right?
Erdtree. Yeah, the Erdtree. In Erdtree, you can get like these items that make the game infinitely easier to play. And if you use those items, then these what's the word when you're trying to block somebody from doing something? Like, I can't think of.
Not parry?
No. I mean, it's like when a person is trying to block somebody. Gatekeeper. These gatekeepers are like, well, that's not the right way to play. And I'm like, don't be a freaking gatekeeper, you weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, the way that I responded, I was just like, well, I've already played through it. Like, I'm not looking for a challenge. I'm just looking to experience it, and it also saved me a lot of time. I did not elaborate and say that when I played through it the first time, I also played it on easy. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's I already did my hard run through. You know what I mean? No, I never had my hard run through. I enjoyed the experience, and I like that game. It's actually my least favorite of the Metal Gear Solid games. I think that it's just kind of a little bit. It feels like you're going through the motions of the first Metal Gear Solid, but like as a prequel that was also made 15 years after the first one is kind of how it feels to me. And so it feels a little bit just kind of rote in some ways. You've got your multiple bosses, and there's some interesting things to it. And I did spend more time watching than playing, like you do with most Metal Gear games, but I didn't mind that. I knew what I was going into, I enjoyed it, and I think it was 10 hours well spent altogether. Who knows how long it'll be until we see another one of these. I'd love to see if they go right into the first Metal Gear Solid. That would be amazing for me, but I don't know.
I want to play the first one when they make the remake of it. But this one is not drawing me in. I'm not enjoying it. And it makes me happy to hear you say that this is your least favorite of the Metal Gear Solid games.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, and it's a lot more playable. The one you're playing, a lot more playable than the PS2 and Xbox 360 ones. So, the ability to move the camera around, not a thing. It's that was not in the PS2 version. So the fact that you can do that is actually a pretty big bump in playability and whatnot. But yeah, it is. It's a challenging game, not in that it's challenging, but it is challenging to you as a person to get you to sit through it. You know what I mean? Because there are some times it just drags, other times where it's kind of funny, there are some hilarious moments to it, but yeah, it's just kind of weird and a little bit pervy too, that's the funny thing about it. Is they kept
it's very pervy.
Right. they kept all that stuff in, but the original had a lot of jiggly physics that are not in this one. Okay. So it is a little bit less pervy, but they still have a disclaimer when you start at the game where it's like, hey, this was made at a time. We're going to respect that. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And it's not a one-time only thing. They show you that every time you boot up the game, which I thought was pretty funny. So.
This is like Weekend at Porky's.
Last week I was talking to Rudy about this, and I mentioned the boob button because you push the button to look at a woman's chest, and I'm like, I hit the button, and I was like, what the hell? Because I didn't know what it did. It just puts the button on the screen, And I just think it's so stupid.
Yeah,
I didn't push that button for the first half of the game because I was like, is this going to skip the cutscene? And then no, it changes it so that you're looking through Snake's eyes, basically.
Right.
And he's just always happening to look at boobs, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So,
What were you going to say, Carrie?
Metro Exodus or one of the Metro games, there's a part where you're in a stripper joint thing, and they just have like a fully modeled bare-chested woman. And I have never had my brother ever walk in on the game I was playing, but at that moment he's like, "What the hell are you playing?" And I'm like, "I'm not." It's just I
don't know, but it's going to be taken off Steam any minute.
that's hilarious.
This isn't what it looks like.
All right, everybody. Let's we got a call that actually came in a few weeks ago, but I wanted to wait until we had, the full crew back. This is from Matt, and he had a question for all of us about NVIDIA and Linux. Let's hear what he had to say. But before I hit the button, I'll just let everybody know there's a link down below that you can click in order to send in a voice message like Matt did, or you can just head to voicecast.app/nerdnest. All right, here's what Matt had to say.
Hey, Bill. My question last week about Steam consoles had two parts to it, but I was trying to keep it short. But then in his response, Carrie kind of mentioned the second part that I had in mind, so I'll ask it this week. What do you guys think the tipping point will be for NVIDIA to support Linux more? I'm fine with buying AMD cards for now, and that's what I have in my main rig, but there's far more Team Green cards out in the wild, and I do see that as a potential sticking point for the future of Linux gaming.
I'm not too worried about it because we got, what is this?
6 to 12 times performance.
6 to 12 times performance boost. But in all reality, what do you guys think? Rich, what do you think?
Oh, man, I don't know. So, history tells us that NVIDIA is just not a good partner, right? Just based on what we've heard. Carrie's talked about it before. The fact
Linus has talked about it.
Linus has talked about it plenty, right? The fact that they're still not, Microsoft's not working with them for any Xbox and hasn't been for generations. Same for Sony. Nintendo is kind of stuck with NVIDIA. They worked out really well for the first one. And maybe my complaints about the price of Switch 2 are because NVIDIA was just like, no, we got to jack it up. That's all speculation. But
it's correct.
This just in, not speculation.
It's correct. They seem, and right now they are on top of the world, right? So even with all of that, they are on top of the world. So what would it take? Man, I don't know. It would take them not being on top of the world. It would take them needing partners that they've crapped on in the past, and they don't seem very interested right now.
Rich nailed it. Everything Rich said was absolutely true, 100% correct. Every part of it, every word of it. They have been bad business partners. No one that worked with them ever worked with them again. Linus Torvalds has complained about them. The biggest thing that when Valve working with AMD, but they also just splintered off and started making RadV themselves. So they have that, and AMD still makes Radeon drivers for Linux themselves.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, those are still better than NVIDIA's binary blob type of thing. But it doesn't, as far as NVIDIA is concerned, all of their main customers for NVIDIA on Linux are not gamers. In any sense of the word. They're just running PyTorch, and they're pressing buttons that use CUDA. So all of the stuff that they're doing would be centered around AI/ML, and I don't see that getting decoupled anytime soon. I think
it's going the other direction. It's going to be more that.
Yeah, you look at what CUDA is, and all the things that they've done, they've wrapped it up in such a way that all of the main functions are very easy to implement. So it became this thing oh, this is super cool and easy. So they kind of springboarded a lot of stuff to accelerate people working on it. And that has paid dividends for them a whole bunch. So as far as the gaming segment side of the things, it's unfortunate because without gaming, we wouldn't have AI and ML where we are today, because you wouldn't have had that. Like, you would not be like, with all the CPUs we had, it still wouldn't have been as nearly as powerful as GPUs were for doing matrix math and stuff, and all the CUDA stuff that they were doing before. It all kind of just lined up. And I don't think anyone would have had a good sample set of the initial AI stuff that they were doing to get the feedback that they were getting as quick as they were to accelerate and be a catalyst. So it's kind of unfortunate that no one respected gaming at all, but gaming is the reason why this whole thing came about. Because you look at like AMD, ATI, NVIDIA stock in 2015, it was like $5. Like, it was nothing for NVIDIA, like absolutely nothing. And they were the premier graphics card maker even then. So it's like, these guys are wild successes. Why is their stock worth nothing? And it's just, no one cared. So I don't even see gaming being a thing that would change NVIDIA's perspective on being more open to allow drivers on Linux and stuff, or like trying to make things a better use case for them. Because as far as NVIDIA is concerned, what they are going to bundle together is going to be something that just helps people do AI and ML, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, we're having a hard time just getting NVIDIA to not forget about gaming in general. So it'd be really interesting for them to say, oh, you know what? Not only are we going to think about gaming, but we also need to tailor to this smaller segment of people, the Linux users, which are 10%. I don't even know what the user base is compared to Windows gaming.
3 is the high number.
Yeah, 3 is the high number for Steam.
Like, why are they going to be like, hold on a sec, why are we not, tailoring to this subsection of a subsection for us, And so that's why I think, it's going to take a lot for them to change.
I think we're like just one press release away from NVIDIA saying, by the way, we're just an AI company now. We're not a gaming company anymore.
The one thing I will say, though, is that we are at least there is no shortage of new GPUs coming that will make, that will render better in the future. And that's from both partners. And I would say at the very least, with Valve doing their own thing with RAD-V, it's okay that you only have Team Red to basically buy, because they're not too expensive and they're really good value for what they are. Like RDNA 4, the 9070 XT is, well, the MSRP is supposed to be $600, which never really materialized. But once that price comes down, that card is amazing for $600. I got a 7900 GRE that I paid $550 for, and I got Space Marines 2 with it and one other Bamco game that I didn't care about. But it didn't matter. Like, at $550 with Space Marines 2, I've been using, that's the PC console that I still use from that YouTube video that's my console gaming PC that I use. I just press my Xbox controller, it turns on, switches the input automatically. I'm as happy as can be with that solution. And the 7900 GRE is very good. So I get, it's not as good as a 4090. A 4090 is in a tier of its own still. But chances are that with the next generation of RDNA 5, that you will finally get that feeling of getting there. And I feel like, the next generation of gaming is going to feel like what this generation was supposed to feel like, is what I would ultimately say is like the reality of how this is going to like work out.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, everything I said is true.
Everything he said is true. All right, let's wrap up the show. We've been hanging out for an hour 46 right now, and a little bit less for Russ because he had some technical issues. But Russ, what have you been working on, man? What videos are coming out that we can go watch?
So I am I'm kind of like on my heels right now. It's a tennis term, but like I'm not like up on my toes because I had a friend visit for like 5 or 6 days. And so I didn't do any channel stuff for a while. I don't know if people noticed, but there was a bit of a gap between my videos. So I'm kind of catching up at this point. I just did a big video. It was an impressions of the Ioneo Pocket DS. So that's a dual screen Android handheld from Ioneo. They're claiming it's the first ever dual screen handheld on Android, but the 1X Sugar is like, what about me? And that just came out a couple months ago. But anyway,
is that the one that does this? Is that the Transformer one?
Yeah, it's the Transformer one. It's got 2 screens. But anyway, so yeah, impressions are pretty good on that. It's bulky. It feels like a handheld PC. It feels like it's in that market. It's 540 grams. Like it's heavy. It's almost Steam Deck heavy. But some really interesting things, including a 5-inch 4:3 aspect ratio display on the bottom, which is just massive. Biggest I've ever seen of a 4:3 display. So I'm still working on that. I'll do a review later. And then I don't know what I'm going to do next after we're done here. I'm probably going to try and knock out a video. Maybe on a controller. I've got a new GameSir telescopic controller. It's really good. It's a Bluetooth one called the X5S. It's $50, and it's like goes toe-to-toe with like the backbones and the other ones that are $150 and $200, you know, like the Razer Kishis and stuff. So I might do a video about that and just kind of say, hey, if you're going to spend $50 on a controller to put around your phone, your tablet, or your Switch, or Switch 2, think about this one.
And if you're going to watch YouTube, do it over at youtube.com/retrogamecore. Rich, damn it.
Almost through a whole episode.
Almost. Tell me what's up.
I think I'm like Russ. I'm a bit on my heels. I have a home nothing to do with videos. I have a home project going on, and that's been taking up just most of my mental energy. I haven't been doing any of the project work, just most of my mental energy. So it's been a bit hard to sit down and make sure I get something out. So I don't know yet, but hopefully be working on something this weekend. Awesome.
Carrie, what's going on, man?
So I finished up a video on that really nice budget handheld, the Mangmi Air X, which is it's like they did a great job. The latest update that came out, which I had, well, the one just prior to the one that just came out, which does a little bit more, but it's nice. Like you can, you know, everything that you could, like if you would have like a checklist of like, 1080p screen and you know, good ergonomics. Like it feels like they straight copied other handhelds. And then that chipset that they have is interesting. Ultimately, it's really nice. Like it's a very good, inexpensive, very like if I would almost recommend this over PSP, like a real PSP. So that's the video I did. And the next right now, like I'm keeping my slate open, so I'm doing benchmarks in the background. But the Win 5 is already in transit. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the monster that's coming, which I'm eagerly awaiting.
So I've got a couple of videos that I'm working on. One is something that Valve changed that I'm not a huge fan of, and that's probably going to come out sometime next week if I can get the time to sit down and finish the edit, which shouldn't really take me too long, but I've just been really lazy about it. Mostly because the other video that I've been working on is the controller, and because that's a physical item, that means B-roll and stuff like that, which I like doing, like shooting B-roll and stuff like that. So that takes up more time, but that's why that video, the other video hasn't come out yet. But those are the two videos that I'm working on, and then of course I got to edit this one. So that's what we're working on. Make sure that you check out youtube.com/thefox, youtube.com/fanthedeck, and youtube.com/retrogamecore, and subscribe here before you go anywhere else. You guys could have been anywhere for the last hour 50, but you decided to hang out with us, and we appreciate it. Have a great one, everybody. Stay rad.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.